The Immaterial Games Podcast with these guys.
Everything can link together, and why the fuck are we watching Highlander?
There can
Highlander,
be only one.
Highlander 3 at that. The shit one. We'll have some Wimbledon tennis while we do the podcast.
There was a long period of time where I didn't know there were multiple Highlander media pieces.
Yeah.
Highlander is a game, or no, it's not a game. It's a
No, Highlander
show.
was a movie,
It's a
movie
movie.
series initially. Yeah, about a group of immortals who had to fight to the death to get rid of each other because there could only be one. And
That was the tagline of the movie. They were all like, there can be only one. And that's what they said every time they killed another one of themselves. They was like, there can be only one.
Yeah, even though
And-
2,000 years later there were still plenty of the fuckers.
And your reward for defeating all the other immortals and being the only one left is you lose all your powers and become mortal. Congratulations. It's kind of a weird ending, honestly.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Kill your fellow man so that you could die.
Perfect.
Still, how do you kill the immortals in the first place?
Decapitate him.
They have they're immortal in the sense that they don't age and don't die from old age or disease or anything like that.
Right,
but they can be killed.
Still, you can, yeah.
They can kill each other.
Yeah, and generally it was big claymore sword to neckline.
Cool, awesome.
So
I mean, decapitation works on a lot of things, really.
Yeah, but I mean, enough about like cheesy 80s/90s movies, I guess, because I think it's usually the point where Duncan would say to me, "This is not a movie watching podcast. This is the video game podcast."
Sure is.
So let's talk about the new movie Mortal Kombat.
I mean,
No.
really, we could make this podcast about anything. We don't need to pigeonhole ourselves into a corner.
No,
It's the
not
Immaterial-
true.
I mean, I guess it's the Immaterial Gamers, but I still think Immaterial Productions works better.
Oh God, bringing
As
that
a
back to the non-double digit podcasts. I like it. So yeah, this is the Immaterial Gamers podcast. Hello.
For now. Hey.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yep, my name's Ryan, and this is episode number 50. We've made it to 50.
Shit, that means I've got only one more episode to do the freaking
Vampire?
vampire.
Oh, you've remembered.
Ah, god damn it.
We were all convinced that you had forgotten.
Yep.
But,
Oh. Okay,
So-
that's mean the whole week I have to be at home. Damn it.
Hey, you brought it on yourself, my friend. You made the challenge. I just went and said, okay, I'll hold you to it.
Did we say 51 or 54?
52.
52.
Actually, to be fair, you've got.
why
Okay,
would we
I've got
say
2 weeks.
54? It's like you've got 1 year plus 2 weeks. It's just like, what?
Yeah, 56.
Oh, it's almost like a D&D game we played at one point. It was like, you've got a year and 4 days. What's the 4
Only
days? A trial run?
The only reason we give you extra 4 days is because we wanted to have a number 369, because 369 is cool mathematically. Also, 69. It's funny.
Yes, it is. So,
Oh my god, 369 days might be the perfect interval of time.
yep. I think, there we go. And, considering we had the story, well, we've got myself, Ryan, we've got Darius, and we've got Duncan.
Hello.
We get those
The D-Force
introductions. Yeah, the Eastern European vampire and our Canadian friend.
from across the pond.
Yep. And we were just talking about while Darius was trying to actually get the news read for this week's podcast, he noticed a slight problem with his with his computer setup. For a while, Eurogamer had correctly recognised that he had an ad blocker installed. It proceeded to then bring up something in the bottom corner which could only be described as an advert for a porn game.
Yes.
Yeah, like the kind of stuff that you would see on actual Pornhub. It's like, okay, why is this here?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Now take into account that he had an ad blocker and that was the ad that leaked through.
Not that I'm intimately familiar with what kind of ads are displayed on Pornhub.
I just
just talk about it naturally because it seems to be a natural thing these days.
put my computer on full scan right now, so let's see what.
Yeah.
Maybe
so
that
we'll
will
just,
find something.
Yeah, so I mean we'll see how it goes, but
Because
yeah,
it's kind of weird because, well, I've been sitting on the front of my PC for at least 5 minutes, more close to the 10. you know, browsing, etc., etc. And then I go back to Discord, click on the news. That when the game, what was the site called?
Eurogamer?
Eurogamer. Yeah, I press that link to the Eurogamer. There's ad blocker, fine. But then in the corner that shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have expected it, certainly, but I guess it would mean that maybe porn needs to be done more into the mobile generation rather than...
Well, I know that
Yeah.
a lot of marketing companies use, targeted advertising, where they collect information secretly based on your recent searches and such, and
Yeah,
they
that would be
advertise you
kind
based
of
on
fair.
that.
That would be kind of weird because all those websites I'm browsing in like incognito mode.
But you've got to also take into account something like Facebook, where its app uses your phone's microphone. Why would it need to use your phone's microphone?
Yeah, because I'm talking to strangers about porn.
Oh no, it's more the fact that, I mean, like, there's this story that I keep pulling up at work where we were talking about trying to get license, or the work we're trying to talk about getting licenses for Office 365, and work was saying it's tough to get them. There's only so many licenses that we can actually pick up. So when it then turns around, I'm on my phone later, and there's an advert targeted for me for how to rat out your business for illegal licensed software. You kind of put two and two together, and you wonder what the hell's going on. So, that comes up. So it could be quite clear that let's say it's listened to your extracurricular activities and decided, well, it seems that you might be interested. God, imagine if the paperclip from Microsoft is still around. Is fucking.
I see you're trying to rat out your boss for using illegal software. Do you like some help with that?
Yeah. It seems that you're watching a lot of porn. Do you want to experience a video game based on it?
I would prefer it other way around, but fine.
Oh wait, what? You want porn based on a video game?
Yeah, make more sense, isn't it?
Legit.
Yeah.
I bet you 9 out of 10 times the porn based on game is gonna be better than the game based on porn. I mean.
Yeah, I guess. It is fair. So yeah, we find a way of sort of seeing how close to the line we can get for these warm-ups, and I think we've hit pretty close this week. So yeah, I'd say that we're pretty much warmed up and ready to go. Between what we just discussed, that was the worst way I could segue into this, isn't it? But okay, let's get on with it.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, yep, definitely. What's been played?
What's being played?
So, Darius, you've not been around for a bit.
I've not been around.
Sunning it off in the windiest parts of Scotland.
It wasn't windy. It was nice. Actually, it was warm.
I mean, I guess 20% cloud cover is actually considered a good day.
Yeah. Well, I did catch some sun. I did.
Oh, sweet.
So, how is Scotland? I've never been there.
However, still, most of the times I was spending inside the buildings.
Oh,
because
classic convention traveller. Go to all the nice places, and then when someone can ask you, how was the place? I don't know. I was in a building.
Well, I spent the whole Friday around Glasgow.
Yeah.
So first thing first, I get there, I put my luggage in the storing thing in the train station.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on a bike. I rent a bike. Like the city bike.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I just start riding it, cycling around Glasgow for like 2-3 hours. Because the point was rent it, go from A to B, from B to C, so that I can visit more, isn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of backfired when I started riding it, because it was so nice, good weather, good cycling path, nice parks. So from one park I just get straight away into another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then after 3 hours I decided, right, that's enough of riding.
Yeah.
So literally I just ride along the parks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to visit lighthouse, some museums, burgers place called Megan's Bum.
Okay.
Did you say Megan's Bum?
It's literally a.
That's an episode title.
That's can be.
Welcome to Megan's Bum. How can I take your order?
It's literally a bar called in Glasgow in the middle
Maybe
of it.
that's why that porn ad came up. Because you were at Megan's Bum.
Oh man.
Well,
So it's a bar, yeah.
the burger was delicious, but anyway, that's nothing close to what I've been playing since forever, basically.
Since the last 3 weeks you've been around.
Yeah, well, obviously when I was traveling, I had my phone with me.
Yes.
So I was
As you do.
most of the times anyway. So apart from watching porn, that was already covered. I was playing Ghost Ball.
Ghost Fall.
Ghost Ball.
Oh.
Ghost
right.
Pole?
Ghost Ball.
Okay then. And what is that, pray tell?
Puzzle game.
Okay.
Puzzle game. Okay.
Puzzle game, literally a puzzle game. At the moment, you have only one town which you can visit, and then you have like puzzles to solve. For example, there is a small game of Sudoku. You have to connect the pie, and the main mission is that there was a robbery in I think in the bank or something, and you have to find who did it.
Who done it?
So you basically like clicking on those small little funny people. They giving you some clues, which involves then solving some task for them. For example, one task was please find a cat around the map. So you're zooming in, you're scrolling through the whole map, you're opening every single door you can, every single window which you can, and you're pressing also, you're tapping on bush and trees, and if you're lucky, you might find a cat. So that's something simple and, well, it's make your brain work because you have to think sometimes.
Okay.
And
Well, it's good when a game makes you think sometimes.
yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, isn't it?
No, definitely not.
Well, and I was playing Wizards Unite.
Oh, you've ended up in the Niantic Harry Potter themed mobile games and all, eh?
Yeah.
Niantic,
So
with the guy who made
it's
Pokemon Go?
literally Pokemon in new being reskin.
Yes, that is the one and the same there, Duncan.
So yeah. Well, I do kind of like the mechanics of drawing the spells. It kind of reminds me of the first Harry Potter games where you had to, using your mouse, draw the spells on your screen.
Yeah. So instead of like constantly circling a Pokeball and throwing it at and everything.
Yes, you have a pattern which you have to follow with your finger. The faster
Speed and accuracy. The
faster you do it, and the closer to the actual path of the symbol you do it, the more powerful your spell is. And definitely after a while it's just getting boring, to be honest. Like Pokemon, it's still like, I can play it for 2 weeks, and after that I'm like, no, I can't be asked anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that it had unique animations. Every confoundable, as they call them in this.
Yes, every
its
confoundable
animation is unique.
Yes, and also they have at least one or two different animations. So there is quite a lot of animation. There is quite a lot of engagement. It's not have more engagement to the player than Pokemon's. Because when you're battling someone, you have to draw more things, symbols.
So it is, like you said, it is a lot more interactive than Pokemon Go would be.
Definitely.
However, I'd be with you on that. Once you've seen a few, you've seen them all pretty much.
The only kind of like interesting mechanics at the moment are raids, which you can do solo or in a group.
Yeah, sort of this idea of like you can, because it's not just Pokestops in this.
No.
You've got inns, you've got greenhouses, and you've got like a wizarding tower.
Inns and greenhouses are almost the same thing.
Yeah.
because you still
So-
replenish your energy by visiting any of them.
Mm.
However, the greenhouses are giving you like more shit to
Yeah.
brew potions, and after a while you brew every single potion and you're stuck with potions, and they are not as rare or powerful as you want them to be.
Mm. No, true. But, if they improve on it a little bit, which it's
Oh, yeah.
Niantic, they will do.
Well, what I would like to see is more like even those Pokemon game, the Pokemon Go,
Mm.
put some story to it. Like,
Yeah.
literally some interesting story. There is a story in that Wizards Unite.
Yeah.
But I
I
would,
mean, it's a batshit crazy story that doesn't make any sense
yeah,
whatsoever.
exactly. But they could make it something a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Even though if that means like you can progress only a little bit every week, but if you make it interesting, then yes, that will make players come back to the game every single day, do something to get through the story.
Mm.
So especially if let's say they would set it up like 2 days day in Harry Potter world, as it is, I think, and have more like engagement to the main characters of it. So what Harry is doing, what Hermione is doing, what Voldemort is doing. I know he's dead probably, but still, you get the picture.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
What's Voldemort up to these days? I know he died, but like, what's he doing? The pile of ash.
Yeah. Pile of ash next
He got-
to
he
the
got in-
ash of his
He got
his
stuck up
snake.
some 10-year-old kid's nose. You know.
So yeah, they could throw some more interesting story to it. That's my point.
Fair enough. Alright, cool. So, we've had the mobile game front attacked this week. Duncan.
Well, if Darius is going mobile, I'm going textile. I played
Nice.
a card game this week and over the last couple of weeks.
Sweet. What
it
card
is-
game be it?
Well, it's a card game that I never really thought could exist, but it does. It's the Dragon Ball Z card game.
Oh my god. The Dragon Ball Z card game.
Yeah, it's a trading card game. Apparently it's
Shit.
a thing. So my friend Jacob can't stay focused on anything ever.
Oh yes.
I legitimately think he has an actual medical problem that he just refuses to acknowledge. But that's not here or there. The point is, he's my guy who I played Yu-Gi-Oh with him a long time ago. He tried to play Pokemon with me. He tried to play Magic with me. He got me into HeroClix, which I currently play. And now he's off doing all kinds of other card games and collectibles. He's making a Star Wars themed tabletop D&D style campaign. He has problems. But yeah, the most recent thing he's done, he's got me into this Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball Super trading card game. I made it clear to him up front, I have zero interest in purchasing any cards for this game or actually spending any money on it whatsoever because I have no money. I am poor. We talked about this before we started recording.
Yep. The story of wanting a room and a double monitor setup.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So he told me, it's like, no problem. I'll buy all the cards and you can just play with the ones that I give you. So
that'll work well.
Yeah, so I've played 2 complete games with him so far. I played one deck that was themed around the androids, the androids from the mid arc of Dragon Ball Z, as well as the androids from the movie Super Android 13.
Yeah.
So it's a deck based around that. It took like an hour and a half to learn how to play the game.
Okay. So it's a relatively. I mean, were you doing that in a step-by-step way, or was that just to sort of get your head around the rules of it?
I was just sort of getting my heads around the rules and, just kind of, it was a little bit step by step. But yeah, so basically it's like the card game sort of combines and hybridizes a series of familiar elements from different existing trading card games. So you have the energy system. I'm not sure if this was the first game to do it this way. But I know that the Naruto trading card game had a system where your energy was basically just like whatever cards you want. Like any card that you weren't using in your deck, you could use as your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
So there's no like mountains or energy cards like in Magic and Pokemon, respectively.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Oh no, so I was saying that I think it's actually a bit different. I don't remember anything like that because I know there've been sort of like the Yu-Gi-Oh take on it, which was a high-level creature or high-level monster would need to sacrifice cards leading up to that sort of thing, but nothing
Yeah.
where it was just like the energy was
until
purely.
until it got to a certain point where you could where just everything went batshit crazy and there were few
Yeah.
requirements to do anything. But Yu-Gi-Oh is a broken game. We're not here to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, we're talking about DBZ.
Yeah, so yeah, any card can be an energy card. There is no hand limit size.
Okay.
Combat takes place either between the enemy leader or an enemy unit that is attacked. You can choose either as a valid target.
Sure.
So it's not like Magic where you're always attacking the enemy leader, and your opponent just chooses who's blocking. What else? What else is worth talking about? Oh god. Oh yeah. Your life is represented by 8 cards that you take off the top of your deck at the beginning of the game.
Right.
Generally speaking, anytime you take any amount of damage, whether it's 5,000 damage or 5 billion damage, 5,000 is like a small amount in this game. Everything's kind of done in thousands.
Right. Okay.
So if you take 5,000 damage or if you take 50,000 damage, it doesn't matter. Generally, you just take 1 damage of life. Some characters can hit you twice in a single attack, and if you run out of your 8 life, you lose the game instantly.
Right. Okay.
But whenever you lose a life, whenever you take damage, you pick up 1 life card and add it to your hand, and then that's part of your deck again.
Ah.
So it's like there's some strategy to allowing yourself to take some damage in the early game. And your hero card usually has 2 states. One is this normal state and one is this awakened state, where you can only awaken your character when you have 4 or less life, and then they get bonus abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a certain strategy to allowing yourself to sort of get whittled down a bit before you go all out. But yeah, it's like hand sizes can get pretty big, and resource management is a really crucial part of it, like it is with any card game, but it's especially a big deal in Dragon Ball. Because you have just such a vast quantity of resources. Like, there's a ton of drawing, there's a ton of adding cards and searching for cards and summoning cards from your hand and your deck. It's a very fast-paced game, generally, if you know how the game works. If you're not reading every single card, which I am, obviously, so everything goes very slow for me. So
it's all about getting the information.
Yeah, once you've got the information down, I imagine it's a very fast game where the board states change quite rapidly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I've managed to beat Jacob in both games so far. The second game I played, I don't even know what this team is. I don't know what it's based on. I think it might be based on like Xenomorph villains or something. I don't recognize any of the characters in the deck that I used, but I still managed to beat Jacob in both games. But yeah, it's an interesting card game, I guess. I have no idea how balanced it is because I've only played 2 games and I've only experienced 2 different decks. I mean, I guess I've experienced 4 technically.
Yeah, those that you've faced as well as the ones that you've used.
But yeah, it's all right, I guess. I wouldn't like go out and buy it because just I'm in a situation where I'm very poor. But if you like card games, if you like Dragon Ball Z, I think it's enjoyable enough that you'd get a kick out of it.
So let's say if you have like, I don't know, 50 Canadian dollars or 100, would you buy it?
If I had if I had 100 Canadian dollars, I'd probably spend it on something else. I'd probably,
I mean, like in terms of the games, would you prefer to buy this one or something completely different game?
If I had $100 to spend on just games, what would I spend it on? I don't know. I'm kind of maxed out on hero clicks. I don't know. I might give it a try.
You might.
I mean, out of the card games he showed me, it's the one I find most interesting, I guess. So
okay.
I guess you could. I mean, I don't know how expensive it is to be able to a competitive Yuki or competitive Dragon Ball Z deck. So, $100 might get you started at least.
Yeah.
You know how these trading card games go. Their decks can
Oh,
rack up
they
a
can.
lot when you get really competitive with it.
They can be money sinks.
Oh,
Believe me.
I spent quite a lot on my Magic the Gathering back in the day. It's like
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah, I
as
know
an old
Magic
Magic
decks
player.
can.
I
I know Magic
spent
can go
a small
hundreds
fortune
or
in
even more.
I spent a small fortune in a short period of time.
That's why Arena's the way to go. Control your spending, but you can always play it for free as well. So that's an idea. But yeah, no, that was cool. So we've got mobiles and trading card games, and I've gone back
What's
into
Ryan have for us? Come on, Ryan.
So
Tell it.
Ryan's in the world. Ryan's in the world of MMOs again.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
no.
I'm switching off.
Not World of Warcraft.
Still, I'm switching off.
Okay, bye Darius. That was Darius, everyone. No, I'm in Final Fantasy 14.
Oh yes, I did see that
Okay.
pop up, and it's funny. It's funny Darius had that reaction because when I saw the first time I saw Ryan's name pop up on Steam with the Final Fantasy 14 underneath it, I was like, "Oh, Ryan,
Yeah.
what have you done?"
What he's done is he's decided to get back into sort of an MMO, but wanted to try something a little different. So yeah, good old Final Fantasy 14, Realm Reborn, Shadowbringers, all other expansion types in one go. So the history of this, remember, is a few years back, Final Fantasy 14 was announced at an E3, and it got some nice oh right, cool, pre-rendered cutscenes. We've got no idea what the gameplay's like. The game came out. It was what's the most generous way of saying this? Hot fucking garbage.
Ah,
And within 2 months, it was shuttered, with Square Enix saying, "We apologise for this. Give us some time. We're going to work on this." And they rebuilt the entire game from the
Because-
ground up.
I think for the starters, it was a really demanding game.
Mm,
It was
Yeah.
literally built for like 2 years in advance, let's say.
yeah. But yeah, they rebuilt it from the ground up and they brought it out as a Realm Reborn. They changed the story, the location, the character classes. They pretty much changed everything. It was almost like this was their backup plan that they didn't want to use.
an MMO
So-
reborn.
Yeah. But yeah, I like how it starts off. You can choose any character class you want, or sorry, any sort of character race, the class. You can customize them. The same old standard MMO fare.
Can I be
But-
a Moogle gunner?
Yeah, I've chosen. Oh, I've got with the Hofgar. I think they're called. They're like cat people, or sort of more lion people rather than cat people. And he's a gladiator. And don't tell Matt. Gladiators are the tanks. I accidentally rolled a tank. It doesn't tell you what class. It doesn't tell you what type of class it is until you actually roll the character.
Does
So I've got-
does Matt not approve of such things?
No. Matt thinks because now Matt would be on the idea that I refuse to play tanks in MMOs a lot of the time.
But
I don't like a party's dependence to be on me making sure they don't get hurt.
But you can still, I think, lead the character and set up the new one.
I could, but I was already 10 levels in, and I don't need to because this is the clever thing with Final Fantasy. People might consider it a problem. I actually consider it innovative. Your gladiator is your primary class. So the character that you roll is your primary class. Once you hit a certain point, you can switch to any other class as a thing. Your weapon determines the class that you use. So gladiator would use like a long one-handed sword. But as a side project, once I actually get some levels in the gladiator, I'm becoming a pugilist, which means they generally unarmed combat. So they've got like basically brass knuckles. So the moment you put the brass knuckles on the character, boom, you're a pugilist.
I wish it was like that in real life. It's just like, you know what? I've decided I don't feel like being a nerd today. I'm just gonna put on a football helmet and bam, now I'm a jock.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's the same with professions as well, because the way it works is that the characters that you roll will fall under 2 classes: Disciples of War, which are your melee focused and tank focused characters, and then Disciples of Magic, which is obvious. So that's it's more your healers and your spellcasters, for those that didn't know that it was obvious. But then you also have Disciples of the Hand, which are crafters, and Disciples of the Land, which are gatherers. See how it works?
Disciples of the Land.
Yeah. But the way that works is every class and every profession has its own leveling bar. And so you level them independent of each other.
So the more you're using it, the quicker you level it up.
In a sort of sense, the way that it was explained in the game was, I have a gladiator. Let's say, for argument's sake, I get him to level 70.
Yeah.
And then I decide I want to level up my pugilist a little bit. The higher the level of your main class, or the greater the difference between the main class and the class you're wanting to level, the faster it levels up.
Right.
So, yeah, so say I decide I want to do the pugilist. I've got him there, he's at level 4 at the moment. So it means I'd start fighting a few mobs, and I would get a ridiculous experience bonus for using them the closer I get to 70. So that sort of works. And then that way you can then, rather than having to roll a bunch of new primary characters, you can sort of, level what you want when you want. You can sort of take it at your own pace, enjoy it how you want. There's a main story that does go ahead based on your primary level, and there are other sort of ways that can be done to move on there. But the other feature that I like at it is that the problem that with having multiple classes is there's multiple armor sets. Only certain classes can use certain armors and certain weapons and so on and so forth. And that can clutter up your bag space.
Okay.
Clever thing in this is the game has its own unique bag called the Armory Chest that's separate from your main inventory and can be accessed anywhere. So the moment that you equip your weapon, you change classes. Of course, yeah, it'll unequip all the incompatible armor gears, but it'll all be stored in that chest for you to just pick up and use whenever, without being stuck there with all your stuff. So I kind of enjoy that. Story-wise, it's good old classic magical fantasy with technology fare that Final Fantasy is known for. I'm currently in my starter area at the moment, where I'm in some sort of like Middle Eastern analog fantasy affair with sultans and warring tribes and a shady criminal syndicate controlling the city that they think is controlled by the royal family. So, standard fare, but I'm enjoying it. I've got to like 22 on my gladiator now. I've not managed to hit my first dungeon yet because I'm learning how to be a good tank for the purpose of this game, because I'm not going to be a tank anywhere else. Don't think about it. But yeah, I think I'll be playing more of it for a little bit.
That sounds like fun. I think it's kind of interesting that you can be like, instead of like in World of Warcraft, you have like, you either have to like completely change your character, or just have like 6 different characters who are all different classes and serve different functions. It's like, oh, we really need a hunter for DPS, but I'm playing a healer paladin. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just log into my other character. But in this game, it's just like, just let me do a quick change of clothes and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I like that. It's like, all right, I'm here with my gladiator. No, we've already got a tank. Oh, thank fuck for that. Right, let me equip the bow.
Perfect.
And done. Yeah. So sort of in sorry, go on.
So it's convenient.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'll maybe give it some more. Maybe I'll talk about it again in another week.
So basically, you're paying like 50 quid every 6 months.
Maybe, but that's no more than. It's no more. In fact, it's the subscription is $8.99 a month. It's cheaper than the other big subscribing game out there.
Well, $7.69 if you buy the whole six month thing.
Yeah, if you buy a 6-month thing, it plays the old classic, like with WoW. The more you buy in bulk, the cheaper it is per month.
Oh yeah.
But you can also do it that you can just buy it in blocks of 30 days. So rather than even having a recurring subscription, you can choose to just buy 30 days of game time.
Yeah.
And it'll just expire after that. So it's, decent Square Enix subscription. It looks gorgeous, as a Final Fantasy game does.
They do tend to do that.
Yeah. That is part of what Final Fantasy is, isn't it? Very, very pretty, shiny, sparkly stuff.
Yes.
The engine is fine.
They always
and
tend to make it look great, isn't it? Any game.
Yeah.
Any game which Square Enix is doing is awesome.
And it's
That's how they do.
Yeah. It's not too hectic in terms of the gameplay as well, because I know there's that thing that WoW is very pinpoint accuracy and sort of positioning and movement and stuff. So far, it's not that much in terms of hecticness. It's simple. When an enemy lines up a major attack, you see the area that it's going to do the attack, and you sidestep or prevent the damage in some sort of way. When I actually get around to doing a dungeon, I'll explain more on whether it's actually any more difficult. I mean, I'll actually have to, take care of 4 other people. But yeah, that's for another week.
Yeah, I did. There was a certain point, for reasons I don't feel like explaining, where I did accidentally add $130 onto my Steam account.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so that's just sitting there now. I have nothing to spend it on. Who knows? Maybe I'll give Final Fantasy XIV a try. Buy a month or two and give it a spin.
Yeah. No, see how that goes. Because you can switch data centers to other places as well. So hopefully it isn't as problematic as having to try and sort it out with Battle.net, which is faking that you're in the UK to play in an EU server.
All right.
But yeah. Right, it is time to move to news.
News time.
And what are we running at here in terms of timing?
45 minutes.
45? Right. We'll play quick talks then. Right. First of all, we've been playing a lot of Teamfight Tactics. Darius has been introduced to it very, very recently.
Last night.
Yeah. And how is your Teamfight Tactics experience with it so far?
Teamfight Tactics.
Teamfight Tactics.
I think I'm gonna have to download League of Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks interesting. It's not like, the game which you want to play through the whole night. But definitely you would like to have a go every now and then on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, if we can get the team of how much of it? 8 people, is it?
That would be great.
Yeah, 8 people.
Immaterial gamers.
Yeah, 8 people. Yeah, if we can get 8
Battle
Immaterial
Royale.
gamers people to play it, that would be awesome.
Mm.
However, I already know who will win, but yeah, that's the other.
Oh yeah.
I already know who will win.
Who do you think will win?
Steph.
You think
No.
Steph will win?
I think
don't know about
Stefan
that.
will win. Because he is just playing that game right now, so he's learning a lot.
I've won 4 or 5 games myself.
I've won 4. Most recently.
You won on a recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You
fair
won
enough.
on camera.
So it's happened. It's like I was saying. During one of the Teamfight Tactics games, I actually feel that I play better under recording than I actually do off camera.
Fair
Part of that is probably helping. It's like I say, I'm a big, Twitch streaming watcher. The one of the streamers I watch, Bengineering. I've ended up on his streams games, and yeah, there's something about the pressure of people watching you that sort of. I know for some people they crumble. For me, it seems like I thrive. Just as a sort of a way of like sort of learning how to play it better, and sort of playing with everyone on Immaterial Gamers. It's just that's just its own reward as well of sort of enjoying it with friends. And not having to worry about it as well.
I can honestly say I underperform dreadfully when I'm on camera. I don't think I've had any noteworthy appearances in. I think I got a bronze. I got a third place in like one of our early ones, but like I suck balls when I play on recording. But then I go off and I'm like, okay, yeah, sometimes I'll finish last, but sometimes I'll get like first and second, and it's just like, wow, maybe I do know how to play this game.
Sort of learning while doing though is definitely the way to sort of play. Sort of the key thing is like with any auto battler is just work with your synergies.
Yeah.
Don't just buy random hodgepodges of characters.
And
try and focus
and
on
don't try to
something.
force a composition. Don't try and make your team become the thing that you wanted to play before you started playing. The truth of the fact is you're gonna get offered stuff that is totally not related to what you were planning on building or what you wanted to build, but you gotta go with it and make it work.
Yeah, I think there was one game where I was starting to try and go for a Void Brawler setup, and a round in it just was not going to work, and I took the biggest risk and changed to a ninja setup,
Yeah, that's a tough one to do.
which is there. So I was actually surprised that I won that one. So yeah, it was a it's
Yeah,
a big
well,
thing.
it's
But
one of the games which you have to adapt for what you can build. You cannot like plan from the start. Well, you can still plan from the start what you want, but
yeah,
you have to have always like a B and C plans for it.
oh yeah, definitely. And I feel that like I was saying to D a couple of weeks back when we first talked about Teamfight Tactics, is that it plays like any other battle royale game, where everything is random and you have to try and control that in some sort of way, because you're not going to get everything you want straight off the bat. So, but yeah, no, it's cool, and part of that, is saying, improving and being under pressure and doing stuff. There's some tidbits that had come out that the ranked version of Teamfight Tactics is due to come out soon. So yeah, it was a very just quick news piece that had come up from Inven Global, the esports company, and their website, talking about how they were going to do ranked in Teamfight Tactics, considering its unique challenges. One being that people can party up and just join into a match, yet inherently it's a free-for-all game. You can't just do what you do on any MOBA and just give all the points to the winners and negative points to the losers, because there are 8 different sides instead of just the 2 that they normally have to deal with.
Yeah.
So it was just it was just a bit of different functioning. Basically saying that they're going to change it between getting a massive LP gain or league points for finishing first, and you'll lose a massive amount if you hit 8th, and then sort of just spreading them out in between. That makes sense. They stated that they're doing no promotion series in Teamfight Tactics because, I mean, again, different to a MOBA, you can't guarantee that you're going to win 3 matches in a row to move up to the next series. But they're saying that because there's no promotion series, there's no protection, so it'll be easier to be demoted. And then they're just saying the same rankings are going to move up and down a lot more, so you'll feel that there's a lot more progress being gained or lost during it as well. And
In other words, it's gonna be more dynamic, isn't it?
yeah. And now what they have stated though is this particular one that I want to read out. Pre-made ranked restrictions are a bit different for Teamfight Tactics. You can queue with up to 5 friends if you're all gold or lower. If anyone is platinum or above, you'll only be able to queue up as 3. So, in our situations where there is usually 4 or 5 of us, at early ranks, we'll be able to play together because it's not going to influence the gameplay as much. What they're cleverly designed is that sort of at the higher tiers, platinum, challenger, champion, they need to remove that sort of teamwork out of the game for the higher ranks, and it makes sense.
It does.
You are all supposed to be there
Because the friends
in
can
a game where
be
only
there doing nothing while you just kill them, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
get and go up the ranks.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, inherently it is an every man for themselves game. So why, I mean the whole point, the way I would see sort of queuing up together on that is that you are just wanting to play together, but you're all out to win.
Yeah, it's like when you play, when you're having so many people together, there's also the fact that it's just you're kind of working against your own interests when you're playing with friends at that rank. It's like when you have a lot to lose, playing with friends, it's like if you come in last place in a group of 8, with 8 friends, it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. I didn't really expect to lose all these ranks playing a fun game with a bunch of friends.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how it's interesting. And certainly, I'm for us, with us doing the Team Fight Thursdays, I'm wondering. Certainly, no, is the answer to what I was about to say. Is like, would it be a consideration that we would try and go up ranked in Team Fight Thursdays? I think that would be something we would need to discuss. but I feel it would sort of lose the whole idea of Teamfight Thursdays being the fun games.
I'm absolutely going to be playing Teamfight Ranked, but I think as far as Teamfight Thursdays, will probably just be casual games for me. Keep it a less competitive environment, make it more enjoyable for us and possibly more entertaining for the audience.
I mean that's not to say individual people, if they want to do something that does show them goal pit, that they can do it. Just as an idea, I feel just based on this 2-minute discussion we just had here, Teamfight Thursdays will be entirely kept as a fun experience. I mean we'd be looking to try and get to a point where we can get, like Darius said, 8 people and doing sort of maybe a big blow off episode with that, with just us determining who is the, I hesitate to say best, but in the fun environment. Yeah, that'll work. So now that we've had that talk about ranked and playing together as a group, it's time to work back onto the single player aspect of our lives.
Yeah,
with this Eurogamer
unfortunately, both of these next articles really, they both concern games I don't play, so
yeah,
don't know how much I'll have to say about it.
I know what you mean, but it's something we can try and quickly sort of discuss before we get to the wrap up of this. Then anyway, so the idea of this is, Division 2 has been out for
quite some time.
6 months now, wasn't it? Something like that. It was March, wasn't it? So no, okay, just shy of 4 months. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, 6 months. Oh wait, no, about half of that actually.
Yeah, my fault. I apologise. Corrections and clarifications will happen next week. But and it's a Division 2 marketed as a shared world shooter or MMO. It's not. It's a shared world shooter. You and your mates, can go and reclaim Washington DC back as a party of people. But what if there's a spin-off to the Division game that was single player? And that was a question brought up by one of the developers from Traveller's Tales games, the guys who do Lego, all the Lego games, where someone brought up the question of, I'd love the idea of a single-player narratives-driven spin-off of the Division game, focusing on an agent trying to get home to their family after being sent to New York City during the shade blackout from the fall of DC. And he posted that to Julian Garrity from, I assume they are a member of, the creative director of Division 2. There we go. I was just wondering, I saw the rank somewhere. So, and he brought one word question that said, thoughts? So there's this sort of idea that while it's not on the cards, it is a legitimate thought that Ubisoft or Massive may look at just a smaller scale Division game purely for playing on your own. Now, allow me to bring my thought on this immediately. Apart from the odd join up with Steph and Darius and Matt and Chris and Adam as well, when they've been around, I played Division on my own already.
Yep, same here. Especially the first one.
Yeah, and matchmaking and party play is, unfortunately, for as good as the game is, limited. Mainly because it's spread too thin, if I was to say anything. Every mission has its own matchmaking queue for every difficulty, for every world tier, of which there are 6. If you have standard, and then the world tiers 1 to 5, and then when a new expansion comes out, a 6th. So matchmaking's already there. So it was already a case that you were sort of playing on your own a lot anyway. Does it really, will having a single player spin-off change?
Well,
that?
It doesn't really need a single player change. However, they could add some more story to the actual game which we're having right now.
Mm-hmm.
And still be, and if I could play that story-driven campaign as on, let's say, some sort of DLC, and I could still play it with friends, with you guys.
Yeah,
that's something what I would definitely throw my money on. So not on a full blast spin-off of the game for another 50 quid, but on reasonable priced DLC. Yes, why not?
Because
true. I do love the first one. I really do, especially the story. Second one, I feel like the story is flat.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not as, I don't enjoy the story as back then. So
I mean,
if they could make it better, the story, even if I have to throw some extra money, yes.
I mean, I guess on that, at least with Ubisoft, they've decided to do. It's actually interesting in how they've done this. I wouldn't say it's better, but they are fleshing out the story with the year one expansions. Expeditions is the big one. They're adding new story mission content that is going to appear after the story's not complete yet, and they've stated that. I mean, it's interesting that they have added this year one pass that grants people extra stuff without necessarily locking people out of content. It's not on an expansion system that says, "Oh right, you've got to have purchased the year one pass to actually play the expeditions and all that stuff." That's content's being released as part of the free schedule. So that's the sort of the interesting bit. But I don't know. Like I say, I feel I've already been railroaded into a single player experience, given that it's the classic. You are the sole surviving agent, except there's 8 million agents like you are all the sole surviving agent.
Yeah.
I guess that's sort of the problem. That's the problem inherent with all MMOs. But yeah, I don't know about a single player story experience that isn't what we've already experienced in not just The Division, but other games like it. Destiny is the other big example. So, I don't know. I guess what the person that was saying on this, though, is it was a more, a sort of Division game where it was more of a character-driven experience. Maybe. But I think that's then also the Division 2 or the Division film that's coming out. That's going to be a character-driven experience. I don't want to sort of keep going on because it feels like I'm rambling at that point, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. They will have to present it to us to judge the whole idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not bad idea. It's not crap idea. It's not good idea. It's somewhere in between at the moment. We would have to see what they came up with.
Yeah, definitely. So last week before we wrap things up, it was a very quick one. IGN. Steph had posted a Facebook post of it. I just decided to find the actual IGN post because it's tiny. But it was only going to be a matter of time before it was done. Based on the Keanu Reeves being in Cyberpunk as Johnny Silverhand, someone had to mod Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yay!
So it had Keanu Reeves in that.
Oh, I've seen that, and also I think they modified another game. I don't remember which one. Shite. Can't find it now. But yeah, there's another one mod for another game where you can play as him. You can play in one game you can play as John Wick. In another game you can play as the guy from Cyberpunk.
Typical. Very typical. But we just thought it was something we wanted to bring up because, it made sense, I guess, considering the big boss in that game. Or the Snake. He was not Snake. He wasn't Snake. Spoilers. He wasn't even Big Boss. Anyway, yeah, just because he had the cyborg hand in it made sense to put him in there. So, something a little bit funny for the end of this podcast. But it sounds like we're rushing, but it's not. Honest, we've been going for ages. It's time we wrap this up because we've got things to do on our Sunday. So, first of all, if you liked what you heard in your ear holes, please do the liking, the sharing, the subscribing, the clicking the thumbs up, the commentating, the engaging in every possible way, shape or form, or the sharing of stuff that it could be done for people in every possible form. And, as we've also explained, I've just noticed that we've just got a chat in the thing. No, Steph, not yet. Stefan's here producing the podcast like 2 seconds away. So, we bring up onto the schedule, which, like I say, we're now starting from the Tuesdays because it makes sense because that's when the podcast comes out. So today, the podcast. Ta-da! Every other Wednesday, asterisk. Shattered Reflections.
Yeah, big asterisk. That asterisk is getting bigger every week.
It's been the schedule's been poor. We'll discuss it. I mean, we're the three hosts of Shattered Reflections. We will discuss it and organise something. I've already placed my availability already, but we'll see how we go. We'll get something sorted. Thursdays, Team Fight Thursdays. Duh. Fridays is the War Table, and Steve's still there in XCOM. He's still living, just. Saturdays, play sessions, or something immaterially different, or an immaterial take on one of them. Like recently, we've had an immaterial take on a normal lost phone. We finally got it out.
Finally! Only a month late.
Yeah. Hey, once it was figured what needed to be done, and once I actually got round to doing the editing part of it, we've got it. It does bring up a question, maybe for Duncan and Andrea on that. Is it possible that you'll look at the other Lost Phone game?
There's another lost phone?
That is exactly the name of the game. It's called Another Lost Phone.
Oh. I guess, I mean, we'll see. I never heard of it, so I guess I'll have to talk to my sister about it or whatever.
Yeah, no, it was just while getting the Twitter handles sorted, while getting the social post set up. I saw the Accidental Queen's Twitter account, and it said that they are the makers of a normal Lost Phone and another Lost Phone. So we'll see, maybe see how that goes. Sundays, sibling rivalry, asterisk.
With an asterisk in that as well.
So Darius is back. So
I'm back.
It's possible that'll be coming out soon, again. And then Mondays is going Rogue, which I'm really enjoying Hades at the moment. I don't want to spoil anything, but things are getting interesting with the amount of attempts I've got left, and the progress that's been made. So keep looking forward to that. And then Dual Play will be arriving at some point, and there's other stuff that we've got ideas that we want,
That will come in due time.
Indeed. So all that's left to say is thank you, Duncan, and thank you, Darius.
Yeah, it's always nice to be
problem
here.
at all.
And also thank you, Stefan, for your mental amount of emojis that are now in the Discord chat.
Absolutely crucial to the podcast. We would never be able to get it done without him.
Yep. So
whether he's here in person or here in spirit, he's just a vital part of the team.
Oh, his head's going to be so large he's not going to be able to leave work.
That's fine. Leave him there for a couple days. It'll help him.
And all that's left to say at that point then is until next week.
I already
please.
said that he's important to the team no matter whether he's here or not. I mean...
Yeah, that is true. But for God's sake, please kill each other. Nope, damn it. Don't kill each other.
Don't kill each other.
Don't kill each other.
Try to save each other.
Yeah, and also visit Megan's Bum. I hear they have good burgers.
Yep. So that was a good crack. Right, see you next week.
See you. See you later. Bye-bye.